All right, guys, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with roll call, please.
Lana Cosley Smith, she had a death in the family.
I'd like to excuse her.
Any objection to excusing Lana from today's meeting? She had a death in her family.
And Kimberly.
I was going to say Kimberly as well.
Kimberly as well.
She's in Santa Fe, New Mexico, testifying for the VAWA consultation.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any objections, so let's mark them both as excused.
Okay. Michael McCurchie. Kimberly Lee, we just excused. Aaron Paymont.
Here.
Larry Barbeau.
Here.
Kimberly Hampton.
Here.
Tyler LaPlante.
Here.
Bridget Sorensen.
Here.
Isaac McKechnie.
Here.
Sean Borowitz. Rob McGrory.
Here.
Kimberly Gravel.
Here.
Austin Lowe's.
Here. Okay, are there any objections to adding the following resolution to tonight's meeting? It is titled Waiver of Sovereign Immunity and Consent to Waiver of Tribal Court Jurisdiction, Teleradiology Specialist LLC, DBA, Experity Teleradiology. Okay, hearing no objection, it will be added to the last resolution for tonight. So with that said, is there a motion to accept the agenda? Well, let me go through the agenda then first. All right, on tonight's agenda, we have invocation, we have membership participation, we have minutes from 11/5/24. We have the following resolutions. We have federal transportation admin, establish FY25 budget. We have nature conservancy, establish FY25 budget. We have air program sensors, establish FY25 budget. We have USDA Food Distribution Program, FY25 budget modification, establish FY25 budget. We have USDA Nutrition Education, FY25 budget modification. We have USDA Nutrition Education, establish FY25 budget. We have foster care, child care state, child care basic grant, FY24 and FY25 budget mods. We have continuing funding, health FY25, Schedule B budgets October through September / January through December. We have continuing funding, government FY25, January through December. We have continuing operating authority for enterprises FY25. We have internal services budget department FY24 budget modification. We have award contract, Albert Heating and Cooling, Big Bear Arena. We have Indian Health Services Project BE22-M84 MOA. We have personnel sheet / CEO of Health Division. We have renewal of tribal license for Sioux Tribe Youth Service Center. We have amending Chapter 90 Housing Authority Ordinance. We have the resolution that we just added, waiver of sovereign immunity and consent to waiver of tribal court jurisdiction, teleradiology specialist, LLC, DBA, Experity, teleradiology. And under new business, we have relinquishments, key employee, and board concerns. Is there a motion to accept the agenda? A motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries, and I ask that we stand for invocation, but before we do, I ask that we take a moment of silence for all the Sioux Tribe and Bay Mills members that have passed away lately. Miigwech. Okay, Jared.
Yes, it's green. Just kidding. As we light fire and Katrina gets to go around this week. One of the things I'm always reminded about is kindness. And last week I went to a community in Ontario, Chippewas of the Thames. And I've been going there for 19 years, averaging about 65 names over a period of 4 or 5 days. And then having a feast in the community with the little ones and family. And we at Traditional Medicine is going to host a feast for the community December 21st. And Austin's going to cook for us. Just kidding. But we're going to host that for the community for winter solace. But one of the things that being kind is Thanksgiving shortly coming next Thursday and Friday. And it reminds me of our generosity as peoples of North America, both on the Canadian side and the American side. Canadians in October, and on the American side in November. And I always think about Thanksgiving as what it is miigwech na ninigakiwik, is giving thanks to those unknowns. But sometimes I sneak a ghost feast in there. And I always think about this community where I'm lucky enough to help out a little bit. That I'm very thankful and very grateful to the community for the medicine that's here. And that medicine could be running into somebody up at the gas bar at 5:45 in the morning, or running into a patron at the casino at 2:45 in the morning. Either or, it's still gratefulness. And I think a lot of times we don't amplify that enough to generate that goodness of Thanksgiving. And it's like, to really be able to behold that is to really behold that into your spirit as Shkabewa Sagaski Jesus. And I think that we have grandmothers and grandfathers before us that still hold that for us up there. And I just wanted to share that with us as part of the opening about being not only giving, but thankful for what we have left, because we haven't got very much left. And you can see that all over the world. And I always think that a couple of days ago I was at a mental health conference, and I came up with 2 acronyms there, and it was MICE, which is mental illness circling everywhere, and CAT, creating alternative treatment. And when we're able to put that together as an understanding about healing, it brings us back to the spirit of giving thanks. So I just wanted to share that. I got in this morning at 3:08, and I worked a little bit today. But I really love what I do, and the people that I work with. We nigga mishkundane mishkugabwe wigeya mishkundane anishnabe ya mishkugane yane ninabege yane and I am wanting again, and I am again, wanting again, and Abisha, Bisha, 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 Bishane, Nishomigayane, Abishane, Yane, Gokum Yane, Yam. Waseyane, Yane, Yashpimenge, Ganunage, Wigayane. Ne wasuguni gemdum. I guess in saying that song is like, where are we? Ani abishya ni abiyaik, ni abishya ni we endaik, mampi ni endaik, mampi mawading mampi endaik. Is this where we are? This is where we live. Ni abishya ni nagokam, ni abishya ni nishom. Is where is our grandmothers and where is our grandfathers? When they was they're up above us and they're looking down at us. And that is Thanksgiving. That is spirit nutrition. And there's lots of homes that might not have nutritional nutrition. And I just wanted to share that with us as giving thanks. Be good.
Thank you, Gerard. As always, we appreciate you. So the next item on our agenda is membership participation. Tribal members are given the opportunity to address their board. They can do so at this time. There's rules associated with it. We reserve 5 minutes per member. If there's anything contentious, controversial, we typically move people to close so that we can have a private one-on-one with the person. So it looks like I have one, and that is James McCurchie, and we're going to move this to closed. Okay. So with that, we are going to move into minutes. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from 11/5/24. Motion by Isaac, support by Rob. Any discussion on the minutes?
I have something.
Okay, Lana has something on the minutes.
At the November 5th meeting, I got the unit right, but I got the location wrong. Patsy Johnson was actually appointed to Unit 2 Newberry, and I accidentally put Nobbinway on that, so I think we can do without objection, just technical correction, change it to the correct location.
Any objection to the technical correction?
Thank
All
you.
right, hearing none, we'll clean it up. So any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. That moves us into resolutions. The first one is Federal Transportation Admin Establish FY25 Budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget for Federal Transportation Administration with Federal Department of Transportation revenue monies of $430,836, no effect on tribal support.
Okay, motion by.
Support.
Motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Wendy, could you cover this resolution for us, please?
Yes. Wendy Hoffman, Transportation Program. This resolution is requesting approval to create a new budget for the Regional Transit Program. This program received the $430,000 grant, and we'd like to purchase vehicles and equipment for the Rise to Wellness Program.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Any board discussion? Aaron, did you have your hand up? I couldn't tell. Okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Kimberly Gravel.
Yes.
Aaron Paymont.
Yes.
Sorry. Sean.
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Kim Hampton.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thanks, Wendy. Next resolution is Nature Conservancy Establish FY25 Budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget for Nature Conservancy with other revenue monies of $53,100, no effect on tribal support.
Motion by Isaac.
Second.
Support by Kim Hampton. Dr. Clark, could you explain this resolution for us, please?
So Buju Robin Clark from Gideon, Guam, Ididmin, Aji, and Wendyung, our Natural Resources Division. This resolution will allow the fisheries program to use Nature Conservancy funds to support a 0.55 FTE of a fisheries aid. And that position will work on the Lake Whitefish Initiative. So the fisheries program has fish in the hatchery about 6 months out of the year. That requires, 7 days a week of care. And so this team member will help with all aspects of that initiative.
Thank you. Any board discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Rob.
Yes.
Kim Hampton.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Sean. Aaron.
Yes.
Larry.
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Kim Gravel.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next resolution is Air Program Sensors Establish FY25 Budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget for air program sensors with federal EPA revenue monies of $5,826, no effect on tribal support.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Rob. Robin?
Anine, I'm Robin Bouchard. I work for AG and Wendyung. That's the shortened version for the Natural Resource Department Division. I work as the Environmental Program Manager. This is to establish a budget and a cost center for a new air sensor program, one-time funding through the EPA. The air sensors will provide real-time data for community members to look up online on PM 2.5, and through that there'll be you can look at the air quality index. Will show you good to poor air pollution and associated health effects.
Thank you. Any board discussion? Isaac?
Hey, Robin, so if a member wanted to go look at the air quality in the area, they go to Purple Air Sensors?
So I would Google Purple Air, and the first one, there'll be a variety, but then it'll say a map. It's a beautiful webpage, all purple, as you can see. Then you go up to the top and you go to map. If you want, I did find out after agenda review, if you download PACU for Purple Air, PAQU for Purple Air, you can get an app that is associated with Purple Air. It is independent, but it does the real-time data from the map of Purple Air, and it will give you notifications if you pay for the Pro membership, which is 99 cents a month or $10 a year or $70 for lifetime. But if not, if you don't want the notifications, you can just still see that through the app instead of having to go to the web browser for Purple Air.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Rob?
I just want to say thanks for your work on this, Robin. I really like this, and as I pointed out in agenda review, I think we need to look at an alert system that we could get to our other tribal departments, whether we do it internally or link it to our website. I think this is really great information to get out there, so miigwech.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Robin. We appreciate you.
Miigwech.
All right, next resolution is USDA Food Distribution Program, FY25, budget modification, establish FY25 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2025 budget modification to USDA Food Distribution Program for a decrease in federal USDA monies of $674,904.25 and a decrease in tribal support monies of $254,759.86. This budget modification reflects the carryover amount. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget to USDA Food Distribution Program with federal USDA monies of $753,135 and tribal support monies of $237,669.90. This budget is the annual grant award. Support.
Motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Cheryl?
Hi, I'm Cheryl McCurchie. I'm the program director. This resolution just shows the carryover for my regular administration budget and creates a new administration budget to put my grant into.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board on this resolution? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kimberly, wrong one. Rob?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. The next resolution is USDA Nutrition Education FY25 budget mod.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2025 budget modification to USDA Nutrition Education for a decrease in federal USDA revenue monies of $27,823.93. This budget modification reflects the carryover amount. No effect on tribal support.
Motion by Isaac.
I'll support.
Support by Kim Hampton. Cheryl?
This just shows the carryover amount the second year of my nutrition education budget.
Okay, questions, comments from the board on this resolution? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, the last resolution we have for you, Cheryl, is USDA Nutrition Education Establish FY25 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget for USDA Nutrition Education with federal USDA monies of $20,000, no effect on tribal support.
Motion by Isaac, support by Kim. Cheryl?
This is a new grant of $20,000 for nutrition education.
Okay, questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Cheryl. All right, next resolution is foster care, child care state, child care basic grant, FY24 and FY25 budget mods.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to tribal foster care for an increase in state of Michigan revenue monies of $97,863.23 and a decrease in tribal support revenue monies of $129,452.32. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2025 budget modification to child care state for an increase in state of Michigan revenue monies $47,197.60 and an increase in fund balance of $7,176.27, no effect on tribal support. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of an FY 2025 budget to child care basic grant for an increase in state of Michigan revenue monies $3,870.88 and a decrease in tribal support monies of $12,352.27.
Okay, motion by Isaac,
I'll support.
support by Kim Hampton. Missy?
Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Van Leuven. I'm the Child Placement Program Director with ACFS. This resolution seeks support to create a new position of Family Services Intake Specialist. This position will provide program support to the agency to allow us to accomplish some new legislatively mandated requirements.
Okay, I appreciate that. Any board questions, comments on this resolution? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Michael?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next resolution is continuing funding health FY25 Schedule B budgets October through September/January through December.
Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Directors approves continuing funding for the attached cost center list for fiscal year 2025 at their 2024 spending levels for a period not to exceed March 31st of 2025.
Motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Jen?
Hello, Jennifer Clare from the Budget Department. This is kind of a normal thing we do if we have not continued or have the budgets approved by their start date. This is, as noted, for the budgets that started October through September, and the ones that will start all as well January through December. This will have approximately 79 budgets that this will allow for continuing funding past their original start date.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sean?
Yeah.
Michael?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yep.
Larry?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next resolution is continuing funding governmental FY25 January through December.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors approves continuing funding for the attached cost centers for fiscal year 2025 at their 2024 spending levels for a period not to exceed March 31st of 2025.
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Jen?
This is the continued funding authority for the governmental programs that operate January through December. There's 152 cost centers in this document that will be impacted.
Thanks, Jen. Any questions, comments from the board on this? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Sean?
Yeah.
Kimberly Gravel?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next resolution is continuing funding governmental FY25 January through December.
Am I sure I'm on the right one? For enterprises?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. No. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Directors approves continuing operation for the attached cost centers for fiscal year 2025 at their 2024 spending levels for a period not to exceed January 31st, 2025. Second.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Jen?
This is a resolution for continued operating of the enterprises. This will impact 37 cost centers past January 1st.
Okay, any questions, comments from the board on this? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Larry,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sean, Michael,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next resolution is Internal Services Budget Department FY24 Budget Mod.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2024 budget modification to the Budget Department for a decrease in indirect revenue monies of $18,325.74 and other revenue monies of $11,431.02. This budget modification reflects changes to the personnel sheet and actual expenses.
Motion.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Jen?
This budget modification, as noted, it reflects the actual changes in the personnel, or actual expenses in the personnel sheet. I've had a position vacant since July, and my request here is to increase the wage of the vacant position to allow for the hiring.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you. All right, next resolution is award contract, Albert Heating and Cooling, Big Bear Arena.
Now therefore be resolved that the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians Board of Directors hereby approves the recommended contractor, Albert Heating and Cooling Incorporated, to conduct the HVAC upgrade project at Big Bear Arena not to exceed $2,801,360. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby approves the use of funding allocated by Resolution 2022-123 for Big Bear Community Center enhancements and any available ARPA or LITCF funds. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes and approves the Chief Financial Officer to create the necessary budget documents that appropriate the funds. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes and approves the tribal chairman or his designee to execute any and all documents, including as may be necessary and appropriate, to carry out the terms, conditions, and intent of this resolution.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Kim. Tammy?
Good evening, Tammy Graham, the Recreation Facility Manager. We are requesting approval to award the contract to Albert Cooling and Heating for our HVAC upgrade. They were the lowest bidder. Our existing system is 28 years old, and some of the units are unrepairable, and many parts actually are unavailable as well. So, and the funding was already discussed in the resolution.
I appreciate you bringing this forward. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Tyler,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next resolution is Indian Health Services Project BE 22-M84 MOA.
Now therefore be resolved that the Sioux Tribe of Chippewa Indians Board of Directors hereby authorizes the chairman of the tribe to execute the memorandum of agreement titled Kinchelo Sewer Laterals Rehabilitation to serve homes on the Sault Ste. Marie Reservation, Chippewa County, Michigan, and such other documents as may be necessary to further this purpose.
Okay, motion by Isaac, support by Bridget. Joni?
Good evening, Joni Talentino, and I'm the housing director. What this resolution will do is it will authorize our chairman to enter into an MOA with Indian Health Services. This is a new grant of $256,000, and it will repair and replace sewer lateral lines in Kinchelo.
Thank you, Joni. Any questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next resolution is Personnel Sheet / CEO of Health Division.
Now therefore be resolved that changes to the personnel sheet can be approved at the executive level and do not have to come before the Board of Directors for approval in order to maintain staff for daily health care operations.
Okay, is there a motion? Motion by Tyler, support by Isaac. Board discussion, Mike?
Motion to amend to add at the very end, see attachment A.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and support. Any discussion there? So let's vote on that amendment. All those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries on the amendment. Carrie, could you explain what this is?
Sure. Carrie Horton, Clinic Manager, Sioux Tribe Health Center. Basically, this resolution will allow the CEO of Health Division to be able to make changes to the personnel sheet to allow us to expedite the filling of vacant and essential operation positions in order to continue healthcare operations. An example would be changing an LPM position to a medical assistant position on the personnel sheet when an LPM position is unable to be filled.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Rob,
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yeah.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next resolution is renewal of tribal license for Sioux Youth Service Center.
Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby issues a facility license attached and incorporated herein by this reference for the Sioux Tribe Youth Facility to operate within the boundaries of the tribe. Be it finally resolved that the Board of Directors hereby authorizes and approves the tribal chairman or designee to execute any and all documents, including ancillary or supplemental documents or forms that do not change the substantive terms of the license as may be necessary and appropriate to carry out the terms, conditions, and intent of this resolution.
Okay, motion by Kim, support by Bridget. Josh?
Good evening, Josh Elliott, Legal Department. This resolution is seeking to issue a 2025 license to the Sioux Tribe Youth Facility to operate as a BIA-funded facility and operate under the guidance of the BIA. And as a courtesy, the BIA is going to provide inspections to the facility, and anything they flag, we are going to work to correct under this license.
Thank you. Any questions, comments on this resolution? Hearing none, those in support signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Next resolution is amending Chapter 90 Housing Authority Ordinance.
Any objection to waiving the reading?
All right, any objections? Hearing none, so we'll waive the reading. Is there a motion? Motion by Bridget. Is there support?
All support.
Support by Kim Hampton.
Motion to table.
All right, so we have a motion to table. Is there a second?
A second.
All right, so there's a motion and second to table. Roll call, please.
I gotta make sure I got this right.
Yep.
Larry. Motion to table. Larry,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Sean,
No.
Michael,
No.
Rob,
Yes.
Bridget,
No.
Tyler,
Yes.
Kimberly Gravel,
No.
Kimberly Hampton,
No.
Isaac.
Abstain.
Yeah, 4 yeses, 5 nos.
Okay, so motion to table fails. What's the speaker list? Put your hand up. Aaron?
So I don't support this because it proposes to use the revenues that are generated from our tribal members, low-income tribal members that live in tribal housing,
Bridget and myself.
to reinvest those in speculative economic development. We have an economic development arm in the tribe that has not been perfect in the past, but it's gotten a lot better. The same outcome can be achieved by the housing division, working collaboratively with the Economic Development Division and Sioux Tribe, Inc. As a board member, we have the purse strings. I'm not comfortable at all with delegating this out to the Housing Department. What we've heard so far on ideas was a car wash and a Airbnb, which is totally not supportive of tribal housing for low-income people. If anything, they should be working to develop partnerships with outside entities to do affordable housing, maybe fair market value, a little bit higher than low income, but fair market value housing. We have a high housing need. That doesn't seem to be on their horizon or their plan. They have a very large amount of fund equity for housing. They do roughly maybe 6 houses a year. That's maybe 1 house per unit per year. So the focus is not where it needs to be, and I'm not comfortable at all with them using the precious revenues that we collect from low-income people to reinvest those on speculative economic development.
Okay, Kim Hampton.
So I'm just going to say this. I do support this because I asked during agenda review if this went to the Housing Commission. Yes. Did they approve it? Yes. Never have I, like, if we get something from the Conservation Committee, if we ask if they've approved it and they have, I don't go against it and say no. So I'm not going to do the same thing for our Housing Commission either. That's all.
Tyler.
So when's the last time a house or a unit was put up in Marquette or Munising that's not related to ARPA funds? Marquette was what, 1980 something? We got millions of dollars in the bank for housing, and we don't have housing being developed. Here's the concerns. There's no guidelines, there's no cap, there's no minimum, and there's no management structure. So we're just going to randomly pass this through without any of this when we have an economic development corporation, Sioux Tribe Inc., both managing Sioux Tribe funds. And now instead of building housing, which is the primary goal of the housing division, we're at 5.5 units being created per year with a 2,500 unit shortage. And instead of building a house or a unit, non-ARPA related with the millions of dollars that we have in the bank, or even an apartment complex somewhere, God, it doesn't even have to go in my unit. Like, I don't care, put it in unit 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. We need housing. Instead, we're looking at potentially a car wash or Airbnb by people that are not business minded. Like, we literally have professionals that do this, and we have no management structure. So who gets to invest that money? Does the Housing Commission just get to pick their businesses and then put the tribe at jeopardy and in other lawsuits? I can't wait to settle another $88 million lawsuit with this stupid investment from people who aren't making decisions at this board table. Like, this is out of control. We were put in charge to stop this kind of nonsense, and here we are going again. So why do we put any handicap on Dan? Why don't we just let Dan and the EDC do whatever they want without management structure? I mean, this is a legitimate question. We're talking about creating a new economic arm in the tribe through our housing division, whose main goal and objective is to provide housing for our people. And on top of that, I put $2 million of the $4 million I got in Unit 5 of the ARPA funds towards housing, and they tried to give me almost $600,000 back, but we're correcting that because the housing is needed. Yet we're going to go into more business ventures without board approval and put our tribe at liability and risk. Cool. Love it.
Rob.
I guess I wanted to make a few of the points that have already been made, so I'm not going to reiterate those. I will go back to my main concern, which should be everyone's main concern here, is that the delegated authority to the housing bypasses the due process to our membership. If the board passes something, the membership has the right to referendum. So if we establish a business or go down a road that our members don't like, they have recourse. Now, when the board delegates that authority, basically carte blanche to the Housing Commission, and now they want to open businesses, what recourse do our members have if they go down a road that our members don't agree with? They don't. So this cannot happen. The economic arms of the tribe are there to provide economic growth and stability and diversification into these areas. Our housing is to provide housing, affordable housing for our members. So the only economic diversification that I will ever support under the housing division is expansion of our housing. So if that is going on to Zillow or aggressively targeting foreclosures so we could get at cost or under cost purchases to provide long-term stable residencies to our membership, I will support that. I will not support a blank authority to a committee that has delegated authority that does not have membership recourse. That's just something I'll never support. Our member should always have the right of recourse to decisions that are made by this, and to blanket that by going about it by giving this authority to a committee that has delegated authority is not okay in my book.
Okay, Bridget?
Well, the Housing Commission had talked about this for quite a while. It's nothing that other tribes across the country aren't doing. It's no secret Nahasda hasn't been reauthorized. We're always looking for funding, and there may be a time when we can't rely on the federal government. So we were trying to get somewhere where we'd be self-sufficient at some point, or at least trying to get that way. Obviously, we know that there's issues with housing, and some of the comments made here sounds like axes to grind. I mean, there's been a lot of things that are happening why those houses haven't taken place, and I'm not going to get into all that. This didn't have to be this ugly, I guess, for this conversation. When we consulted with Bluestone, they brought forward options for us to be able to make money. And the difference with us and the EDC is they get to make the money, taxes, whatever they do with it. If the EDC does it, we're not getting any money for it. I mean, I'm just gonna end up getting angry, I guess, because I've heard so many bad things tonight that aren't even fair. You want to talk about referendum, you guys took away the membership right to referendum with the changes that were made.
No, we didn't. What are you even talking about? The right to referendum is
The
still there.
threshold changes.
Because we have more members, Bridget.
Yeah.
Is what it
whatever.
is.
I'm not gonna argue about it.
You think you can do a
We'll vote.
referendum with
Let's
100
just
people? Aaron?
Okay, so in the past, the Housing Authority had proposed rental increases of 33% for everybody, while housing staff that were not income eligible were getting subsidized housing. Recently, since I've been back, we sent an eviction notice to a 17-year-old months after her mother passed away. Housing's values are all wrong. We should be about providing housing for people, not looking to spend the little bit of money that we collect from low-income people and invest those in a car wash. That's laughable. Or Airbnb, which is for rich people. That's laughable. That money should be reinvested in the membership. So we have $40 million in a fund equity that they can use for special projects and bring proposals to the board of directors. Why haven't they done that? They can use model projects funding that they get and bring economic development ideas to the board of directors. The difference of what this resolution will do is it will take the decision-making out of the hands of the tribal board of directors and place it with individuals who are not elected to represent the interest of this tribe. So if we're looking to spend that low-income rents from tribal members, I would like to make a motion to amend to zero out all income for low-income people so that they have rent-free. That's my motion to amend.
Is there a second? All right, dies due to lack of support. I want to say something. This is the worst resolution I have seen in a long time from this board. So as a social worker, housing security is something that bothers me, right? Look at the wait list for housing right now. We have members that live in the woods in tents with babies. We have members that can't get into our homeless shelter because it's completely free. And I find it troubling that we have a housing authority that until recently was more willing to pay for car washes than to house our homeless members. It's pretty sad when John DeMoose, a Republican state senator, is able to procure funding for that homeless shelter before our own housing authority is, which is filled by members of our tribe. I have a big problem with that. So we have a lot of money in the housing authority that could be building houses. Historically, we build 5 to 6 units of houses every single year, despite the fact that we have a 7-county service area. So we have a big wait list and we have a lot of money and we're not building houses. And instead of building houses, we're talking about using these funds to build businesses, right? With unproven people to manage the businesses. So a couple questions. Okay, let's say we use housing dollars to build car washes. Who do those business leaders report to? They report to the housing authority? Okay, if the housing authority buys businesses, does the Sioux Tribe have the ability to referendum that? Of course not. Do you have the ability to know that they're purchasing businesses with housing dollars? No, because those meetings aren't noticed, neither are the agendas. The housing authority is filled with volunteers, right? I'm not aware of any that have started any of these businesses. They are not elected officials. They are people who are appointed by this board of directors. I don't care if they want to control the purse strings of their budget. It doesn't matter to me. If the Natural Resources Department came here and said, I want $100 million, I want all the casino revenue, of course I'm going to say, well, that's not the best idea. And we need to use that logic here as well. So when we interfere with this, we haven't had a successful business. Let's run through the businesses that we've gotten in the last handful of years, which are mostly board directives. Hustle Ridge has not made a single cent. We've already reported it loses on average about $250,000 per year. Tanglewood, equally, doesn't make any money. We purchased the Malcolm High School, and then we did a cost analysis to figure out how much it would cost to renovate it into apartments, and it was cost prohibitive, meaning you couldn't charge enough per apartment to make your money back. So we sold it to My Michigan, who's in the process of most likely demolishing it because they're experiencing the same problems. That demo job is likely going to cost about $1 million. So had we not sold it, we'd be stuck with $1 million demolition job. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. We have housing dollars, we have housing needs, our housing needs are unmet. Build some damn houses and charge rent if you want to make money, and then use that rent to build more houses. But to use housing dollars when we have a legitimate housing crisis in this community to purchase businesses is laughable. That LOX project is not going anywhere. It's inflated the price of housing. The units that don't have the LOX project, housing is through the roof as well. We need to be doing everything we can to provide low-income housing to our members, period. End of story. End of story. So if you are on a waiting list for housing, you should be troubled by this. Absolutely troubled. Tyler.
So, again, I brought this concern up during agenda review, is that we know how much money they have in their account. Housing is probably our most powerful committee because of the separation they already have from the tribal board. Separating them even further into their own economic endeavors, again, it puts us at risk and liable. It does. It 100% does, because you have a bunch of non-business professionals trying to say that they're experts at business and pick and choose what businesses they're going to purchase. Meanwhile, Dan Doyle is running our EDC, and he has to beg for everything that he moves forward on. He has to come, he has to get board approval for everything. Why are we doing that? That doesn't make sense. So we give housing ultimate authority, but him none. Put a board over him, let him do whatever he wants. To rebut against that, we just blanketly take committee recommendations. That's not true. One of the most recent ones that I can recall is a conservation committee came forward to go against the bear bait ban. And we asked Dr. Clark how the animals feel and how it actually impacts them scientifically. And we actually reversed that decision as a board. I know that because I was the one who asked the question, and the board changed direction on that one. So we don't just blanketly take them, and the conservation committee doesn't have millions of dollars available to them either. So there are many, many concerns. This needs to be seriously workshopped. There needs to be captations put on there. There needs to be guidelines, and there needs to be a management plan.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now, you have a select group of people that may have been withholding millions of dollars in housing and building and construction because they were waiting for the right amount of votes to get this passed. And that is scary as heck, because we got elected to stop this from happening. And here we go.
Okay, anyone else? Rob?
Yeah.
I'm going to say one more thing, too.
I just want to reiterate that we're in a housing crisis, and the function of our housing authority should be to provide housing. There should be nothing else on their agenda right now. Get our people off the street and into homes. That is what the commission is for.
Last thing I'll do is I'll read the mission statement for the Sioux Tribe Housing Authority. It is to create and sustain housing programs that strengthen the quality of life, economic self-sufficiency, and future growth for the members of the Sioux Tribe of Chippewa Indians. Nowhere in that mission statement does it state anything about for-profit businesses. On the contrary, our code specifically prohibits it, and this is what this resolution is trying to do, overturn codes so they can enter for-profit businesses. And I'll tell you this, no one is impacted by housing insecurity more than Native Americans. There isn't a race or ethnicity. We have houses, they're not meeting our needs, we need to build more. So, roll call, please.
Raise your hand. Larry Watts on the list.
I'm going to make a motion to retable this.
Okay, motion to table, second, roll call, please, on the tabling.
Fuck.
You're not doing this again.
Kimberly Gravel.
No.
Aaron.
Yes.
Sean. Larry.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Kimberly Hampton.
Yes.
Michael. Tyler.
Yes.
Bridget.
No.
Carries.
Okay, motion to table carries.
We all take a deep breath.
Okay, the last resolution that we have on for tonight is the one that we waived rules to add. It is titled Waiver of Sovereign Immunity and Consent to Waiver of Tribal Court Jurisdiction, Teleradiology Specialist LLC, DBA Xperity Teleradiology.
Any objection to waiving the reading?
Any objection? All right, no objection. Is there a motion?
All motion.
Motion by Isaac, support by Kim Hampton. Josh? Or Gary?
This resolution is seeking a limited waiver of sovereign immunity for the health center to enter into a contract with Xperity Teleradiology. And as part of this, they are not willing to consent to tribal court jurisdiction and would like the tribe to agree to exclusive jurisdiction in Winnebago County, Illinois. And I will let Carrie speak more on the details of the contract.
Carrie Horton again, clinic manager at the Tribal Health Center. Basically, this resolution will grant a waiver of sovereign immunity and consent waiver for tribal jurisdiction, just like Josh said, in Winnebago County, but it basically allows this company to do our ultrasounds and x-rays.
Hey, Carrie,
Go ahead. Yep.
can you just explain the importance of why you're switching companies?
Absolutely. I did follow up on Kim's question whether our previous or our current actual radiology company, we waived that. We did not waive that jurisdiction. One of the reasons we chose the current company we have is because the other two that we had gotten estimates on, they wanted us to waive that. So that's one of the reasons we chose who we did this time around. Unfortunately, we've had some issues with the readings. They've come back and had to be redone with different results. So we haven't had a lot of great luck with our current company. That's one of the reasons we're moving.
Okay, Kim.
I also did some research while you were gone, and it looks like they're a really good turnaround time for them.
I can give you some stats if that would help as well. They have a 99% accuracy rate. There's a 2-hour turnaround for stat readings and 6-hour turnaround for routine readings.
Okay, anyone else? Josh, do you have any concerns with sovereign immunity being waived?
No, I would have no concerns.
Okay. All right, so let's vote. All those in support signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. All All right, so that brings us to relinquishments under new business.
Julie Salo, Tribal Registrar. We have 3 relinquishments tonight. Relinquishments are memberships voluntarily given up by the member. They have to be 18 years of age or older to request relinquishment, and these relinquishments are absolute.
Okay. Do you want to go through the names or no?
Do you want me to do them all like together?
I'm going to, yeah. Yep.
Okay. There's Nina Craig, Carrie Feathers, and Carol Shootman. They all wish to join with the Little Traverse Bay Band. They've already been accepted. Their application is pending. Their relinquishments, they've returned their tribal cards and signed their letters. They're all set to go.
Okay, appreciate it. So with that, I'd like to accept or entertain a motion to accept the 3 relinquishments. All right, motion by Kim Hampton, support by Aaron Paymont. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in support signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Joni.
Thank you.
Okay, last item that we have before board concerns is key employee. Rob?
I placed this on the agenda to deal with an employee issue. As a board, we have an obligation to provide our employees with a positive work environment that is conducive to our goals. And when we have a hire that does not fit into those goals and performance does not meet our satisfaction, it's also our job to take any action that is required to make sure that the goals of our tribe are met. And we have a probationary period for a reason. It's nothing personal. It's just we have to sometimes make tough decisions to make sure that our tribe is headed in the right direction. And I think it's necessary for us to do that. And for that, I would motion to terminate the CIO position and immediately post for hire.
Second.
All right, is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, without objection, we'll approve this via unanimous consent. Hearing no objection, motion carries. That brings us to board concerns. Any? Okay, pass them over.
I need to read off my sheet first.
So for these board concerns, I'd like to change the way we do them. What it ends up being is a debate. So if a board member has a concern, they have a right to express that concern, and then that be it. You guys okay with that?
That's the way we're supposed to.
Okay, all right, Kim.
Okay, so what?
Then you can give a board concern at the end and state why you object about it, you know,
Board
but it
concern
turns
is
into
you
a game.
object. So I have a couple things. One really big issue is I don't know who, but I can say somebody. Somebody is leaking information out of closed workshops and closed meetings again. That was verified today. So I don't know who it is, but I would feel like we're a board of directors, we're professional enough, we're adults. Why are we leaking information? Anyway, I know we talked about this many times too. I think this has to be on a workshop, so I don't know when we can fit it in. This issue about key employees is, I mean, we do need to meet with all of our key employees, make the process a little bit smoother. And then I had another issue, which I believe has already been taken care of. It was brought to my attention today and the Unit 4, other Unit 4 directors' attention today, that even though our pumps and sprinkler system at the Manistee Fitness Center has not been delivered yet, so we currently have no sprinkler system. So it is a fire hazard and not okay for anybody to be using that. It was brought to our attention that employees actually are using that. So from what I understand, it has been put to an end as of today. I just wanted to let, because we were asked by members, I wanted to let the members know that is not something that's okay. It is a fire hazard. If something happened to one of our employees while they're using that fitness center, that could be detrimental to us as a tribe and our future. So I believe the issue is taken care of.
Can I make a comment?
So that's all I have.
Typically, when you hire.
Typically, when you hire someone to do a contract like that, you hold a retainage until that work's done. I don't know if they did that, but then
They
you can
do
go
still
back.
have a tad bit.
Yeah,
But it is
not
a
enough
huge
for-
fire hazard.
Plus
No,
all the
there's no
money,
sprinkler
but
system.
think about all the money we're expending to keep that, utilities and stuff, and it's not open.
Yeah, so anyway, those were my concerns. The only, I guess, action item is, or a couple, is we can't be leaking information from a closed workshop or a closed meeting. And if we could get it on in a workshop for a key employee to where we can, I guess, get some communication and dialogue going. Thank you.
Aaron?
So 4 months ago, I had requested, let me back up. 2.5 years ago, I helped to get over $450 million for our tribe by participating directly in writing the formula that got us that money. It will be a damn shame if we don't spend all of those dollars because either board members didn't identify their priorities until recently, or that we are not spending all of those dollars. With the change in the administration, it's likely that any unexpended dollars or unobligated dollars by December 31st are going to go back to the federal government. 4 months ago, I requested a matrix so that we could see at this board table how much money is obligated, and if it's not possible, because people brought their request at the 11th hour, and it's just not possible to spend those funds. That's really irresponsible if they did that, because the needs of their membership are important. But we need to be able to move those dollars around so that we don't have to give one penny back to the federal government. So if we can get that matrix within 1 week, because I've been asking for 4 months now, I would appreciate that. I also have a resolution for next meeting to delegate authority to the chairperson for some specific items. We've been facing some real significant challenges with key personnel reporting to 13 people and everybody not knowing who's supposed to train them, who's supposed to onboard them, who's supposed to give them the goals and objectives. All of that is a function of a dysfunctional structure that we have in place. So I put that on the agenda for the December 2nd meeting. I also am putting back on the agenda my nepotism for conflicts of interest for board actions. It should not be possible for any board members to lobby other board members or staff for an immediate family member, or even discussing any items where they're in conflict. It shouldn't be possible. Also proposing to overturn discipline. They should not be engaged in any of those conversations, and they should have to leave the room and not be privy to any of the conversations. That's a clear conflict of interest. And so let's vote on that as a board to make sure that it's not possible. If I were doing that for somebody who's my relative, you know that that would not be allowed. It shouldn't be permitted. Well, let me say, a relative of mine was recently hired, and everybody lobbied and said that she got hired because she's a relative of mine. Absolutely not true. And if she were disciplined, I would not be part of that conversation because I have integrity. I would not be lobbying you behind the scenes and asking one of you to advocate my issue on my behalf either. So I'm bringing that resolution forward. Then finally, we need a detailed constitutional review schedule. I motioned to refer those to Rob's motion 2 months ago, or 2.5 months ago. We set a schedule for October and November. That's almost done. We have one meeting scheduled for that 2-month time period, and there's no meeting scheduled afterwards that I know about. So I don't think we need more than one meeting, so maybe we'll resolve everything in one meeting, but I'm fearful this is going to drag on and on and on. And so what I'd like to ask, at least at the beginning of that meeting next week, is to set a full schedule for what we think is going to be necessary so that we actually follow through. We told the membership that in October and November we would meet. I know there was a couple Vegas trips, and I know a couple people went to Vegas a couple times, but that didn't get the business done of the tribe. Thanks.
Okay, Tyler?
Yeah, I have a concern that we have an amazing powwow coming up this Saturday in Marquette. It's the Unit 5 powwow, but this year we're partnering with KBIC and Native American Student Association at NMU. Everybody's invited. It's free of charge. We fully paid for the catering, so the feast is free. Grand entries are at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. We have a great lineup, and it's going to be amazing because we're partnering with other tribes and growing support between communities here. So everybody's welcome. I hope people stuck around for the board meeting and can hear this, because you're all welcome. Come on down and have some fun.
Okay, anyone else?
That you're not here.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I think my opinion is that we're only going to need one meeting for revisions to the amendment because it's finished. It's been done for, 17 years? So I don't think it's going to take too many revisions, but we were way too lax on our scheduling of the membership input sessions. So like I said, I will let the board work for 2 months. That 2 months is almost up. We're going to be in a position to where I'm going to be placing it on every single agenda until something happens, because our membership does expect us to work on it. And it was on, 8 platforms? So the separation of powers is something that our membership expects. And so we're going to get to a point, if we're not taking action as a board as a whole, I'm going to be placing it every single meeting till something happens.
Okay, Bridget?
A couple things. One, when we passed the resolution about the mini grant for NCAI for voting, we were never told if we got the grant. We were never asked for any input on what would be sent out. And then me personally, I got mine on the actual day to vote. So, I mean, I do absenteeism because it's out of my way on Tuesday when I come up here, and it might not be open when I get back. So I do absentee, but for those that vote in person that day, it was probably too late for people. So I think we have to work better on communication, because I don't think many of us knew whether we got it or had any input on what was going to be put on that. So just looking for better communication. The other thing, I just feel like our board voices are being just diminished. I understand it's been a long day. Tuesdays are very stressful. But, and I have a 2-hour drive, or it's a 2-hour round trip. There's other people that are driving. So, I understand everybody wants to get out of here. But this is usually the only day of the week that we meet, whether it's online, we're Zooming in or we're here. So, to be rushed, and to, the point earlier, there was a comment about you were done hearing about things. Well, that you're one person.
Would you like to talk about what we were discussing in closed?
I don't care.
Okay, talk about it then.
But I'm talking about,
Would you like to?
I'm not going to get into this and be all cocky with you.
I'm just saying, if
Here's
you want
the
to talk
thing.
about it, we
You're
can. We
one
can talk about
person.
it openly. The camera is
But
right there.
There's not 7 of us that don't want to talk about things. You shouldn't be the one deciding when we can bring up issues. That's not your job. Yes, you can run a meeting, but are you going to stop us every time from talking about something if you don't agree with the subject?
So I can answer that.
Well, go ahead.
If it doesn't pertain to a closed session item, absolutely. If I'm running a meeting and if someone's doing membership participation and their 5 minutes has concluded, then I'm going to open the meeting back up, because a lot of people have traveled to come here, Bridget, and if you want us to talk about it, you can schedule it in a workshop. It's as simple as that, but I have a meeting to run and there's an agenda.
No talking to you.
Great. Aaron.
So the board enacted procedures, policies and procedures, and the board membership input defines the role of the chairperson and requires the chairperson to go into closed session if something bridges over and it becomes one of those 3 items: personnel, real estate, and enterprise and proprietary. So you may not like it, but you got to follow it, no matter who you are on this board. And if you don't like it, buddy up and let's repeal it. But that's what's in place right now. So I read some of the online stuff too, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Kim, but some of the stuff that's online about being shut down, the chairman is not shutting anybody down. The chairman is doing the job of this board. We also can participate in motion to object, or we can request to go in closed session. You don't have to do it because he's doing it for you and taking the heat for you. So I'm getting tired of personnel matters being lobbied to this board of directors and us not being able to talk about it. So I think if this continues, we should be able to talk about it in public. Let's talk about all of it in public. Let's lay it all out so that the members can see what is frustrating the board behind closed doors. There shouldn't be any secrets. Let's see where the conflicts of interest may happen. Let's see where the violations of policy happen. Let's lay it all out for the membership to see. It shouldn't be a big secret, and it shouldn't be hidden because depending on who it is. That shouldn't be able to happen. I was going to say something else, but I guess I'll wait to come back.
Okay, so Kim, Bridget, then I'd love the opportunity to give my own board concern because it's been a while since I've given one.
Okay, I'm going to answer on this. Since our emails are already out there on Facebook from our closed board emails, our gaming authority discussions, I brought up the personnel issue we discussed. I was not lobbied. It wasn't about this person, so everybody assumed wrong. My integrity was called in question. I was called dishonest. I was accused of doing backdoor deals, and I didn't know how to do my math. And I didn't appreciate that when you didn't even know who I was talking about. I talked to Aaron, or I emailed him. He knows who I was talking about. Got out on Facebook, nepotism, all this stuff. And that wasn't even what my concern was. Then my other concern was the exact same thing Kim said about our emails and our private conversations that are supposed to be confidential are posted on Facebook.
One literally is stuff from a meeting today, closed.
Already today? Jeez. So there, that was my board concern, was the emails being leaked onto Facebook from our gaming authority meetings, which are closed, and our board conversations, which are private.
Okay.
For the record, I wasn't here for the gaming authority meeting.
Bridget, go ahead.
I'll just file a police report.
Good. All right, so I have a couple board, go ahead.
So I'd like to clarify something because someone was, I heard a lot of things going around when there was these meetings. And I would like to point out something for all of the directors. Now, closed meeting stuff is supposed to remain confidential. I have never released confidential information. But what I will say is that you all need to be careful, because after a gaming authority meeting, when there's a huddle of board members and the meeting's adjourned and you guys talk about it loud enough for multiple staff members to hear what you're talking about, organizing a gaming authority meeting to overturn decisions, that's no longer confidential. It's in a public hallway. People heard you. Oh, thanks, because it happened in the hallway too, but thanks for the clarification. So it was after the meeting adjourned where people heard you. That's the point. That's the point. When a closed meeting stuff is supposed to stay in closed meeting. And to be honest, 90% of the stuff that is in closed meeting shouldn't be in closed meeting. It really shouldn't. Read chapter 96. There's a reason for these, and it's been manipulated so much over the years that for the board to do things behind closed doors, no wonder why the membership hates it. Because every time something needs to be hidden, another code's adjusted so that way it can be hidden. I think we really need to repeal some of that stuff. So that's what we need to do. But my main point is, whether it's over here or the other conversation that happened in the hallway after a meeting's adjourned, that's public knowledge now, you guys. Those staff members and anybody from the public out here that hears you, you don't think that's going to end up on Facebook? Of course it's going to. So don't be looking around pointing the finger at people saying, oh, you need to keep things confidential, when you guys are having blatant conversations about it where everyone can hear you. I've heard it from 5 people already.
Tyler could hear them talking about scheduling a gaming authority meeting, but being careful not to do it so it wouldn't conflict with the second trip to Las Vegas that the board got on in October. So I'm going to talk about that in my board concern. This board right now is traveling excessively. If you travel to Las Vegas twice in a month and you don't bring a thing back, that's a paid vacation for you guys, period. Period. Another thing I want to talk about is a key employee satisfaction survey. So have you guys noticed it's been a while since we hired a key employee that was a Sioux Tribe member? There's a reason for that. It's because no one applies, because people know who we are. So we put so much on staff, but not once has staff ever given us a recommendation of how we can do better. So in the next meeting, I'm going to propose a key employee satisfaction survey that talks about a lot of different things. Key employees have sent me screenshots of inappropriate text messages that members of this board have sent them that have been reported to HR. They've reported being harassed. They've reported being intimidated. If a key employee reprimands a board member's family member, they face retaliation or they feel like they do. I could go on and on and on. And you know what? We supervise those key employees, but the membership supervises us. So I don't have a problem with that going to the membership and making it public. Why should we? Transparency, right? The only thing that would harm us is less people would want to apply to work for us, period. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. We can couple it with executive 360s all we want, but we need to do better. This is a lay board, and the executives that we hire are not lay individuals. They're people with advanced educations that came from very successful organizations, and they're stuck here. And they're mistreated and mismanaged, and I'm looking forward to that resolution. It's been a long time coming. Aaron.
Mismanaged or not managed, the notion that 13 people can effectively supervise an executive staff is about ego. It's not about efficiency and effectiveness. In the real world, outside of being an elected layperson, you spend years getting the qualifications to supervise executive staff. And if we humble ourselves at this table and realize that 13 people cannot effectively manage an executive staff member, that's not possible.
The only duties this board has is the pass resolutions, pass policy, and as a group, manage key employees, which we struggle to do. This notion that we're going to dip into operations, areas where we've never worked in our personal lives, but we're going to trump experts in that field is laughable. It's laughable. Isaac.
Can we adjourn the meeting so our staff can go home? I think they've heard more than enough. I know I have.
I have too. Any objections to adjourning? Meeting adjourned, guys. Good meeting.